We shall fight in the field.
Mit der Akzeptanz der
C'est pas parce que les
vier
Britanniques
Grundfreiheiten und dazu gehört
ont
auch
décidé
die
de sortir qu'ils ne doivent pas
Freizügigkeit
être
der
associés à ce
Personen.
processus.
Brexit means Brexit.
Hello and welcome to another Brexitometer brought to you by the Martin Centre. It is our first outdoor Brexitometer. This time we're joining you from the centre of London, from Westminster, the epicentre of British politics, and we're sitting in a place that is not coincidental at all. Right here it's the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and right here are the Churchill War Rooms. And why do these two places matter? In the Foreign and Commonwealth Office sits Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt, and deep beside the dungeons of the Churchill War Rooms, the grand, the great Boris Johnson, the great heir to the grand Winston Churchill tradition. Jeremy Hunt and Boris Johnson are of course the two adversaries who next month are going to decide amongst themselves who's going to be the next leader of the Conservative Party and also the next British Prime Minister. And of course this matters a lot for Brexit. So in a month we're going to have a new British Prime Minister. What does that mean for the future of Brexit? What does that mean for the future of the UK-EU relationship? The Brexitometer is here to give you all the answers. So let's start with the Conservative leadership election. The process was kick-started when Theresa May announced her resignation, therefore putting an end to her 3-year-long premiership, otherwise known as the world's longest live recorded car crash. After various rounds where various candidates were eliminated by Conservative Party MPs, the final two candidates are Jeremy Hunt and Boris Johnson, and they will compete for the votes of Conservative Party members, and the process will end at the end of July, when we're going to have a new Conservative leader and a new Prime Minister. Now, where do those two gentlemen stand with regards to Brexit? Theoretically, the choice is between a softer version of Brexit and a harder version of Brexit. Boris Johnson is, of course, the really hardcore Brexiteer. He says he's going to take the UK out of the EU by the 31st of October, even with no deal. Jeremy Hunt is a bit softer. He says that if he sees a space for renegotiation, perhaps the deadline can be extended. But in reality, there's really not all that much difference between them. Both of them really rely on the notion that they will renegotiate the exit deal of Theresa May with the EU, and the EU has said there's going to be no renegotiation Brexit by the 31st of October. So the Conservative Party is locked in on a collision course with the EU, regardless of who is elected. Now, between the two, Jeremy Hunt appears a bit more moderate, but let's not forget, he's a gentleman who once said that the EU is like the Soviet Union. He said that in front of a Conservative Party conference. Boris Johnson, on the other hand, appears all kind of Eurosceptic and really hardcore against the EU, but many people also expect him to be the man who will be able to sell any kind of agreement to the Conservative Party supporters and to Conservative Party MPs. So we're going to have to wait and see. The main takeaway here is that whoever of the two is elected is actually going to be a very, very difficult person to deal with the EU. So what are the options in front of the next Prime Minister when he is elected? There's basically the soft way to go and the hard way to go. The soft way to go would be for the new Prime Minister to try to get the EU to renegotiate, perhaps extract some really very cosmetic changes to Theresa May's withdrawal agreement, but ultimately understand that no-deal Brexit is not an option. It's an economic calamity for the country. It's going to be really bad for the economy, really bad for the UK, and either try to push through Theresa May's agreement slightly modified through Parliament, or even ask for an extension from the EU in order to have more time to pass it through Parliament or have some kind of a popular legitimation of it, either through a referendum or a general election. Now, this is the softer option, and would probably find quite a lot of support among people, other political parties, the business community, who don't want a no-deal Brexit. The problem is that this is what both of the candidates for the leadership have said they are not going to do. And if they decide that they want to pursue a softer line on Brexit, their own party, the Conservative Party, is going to be very angry. So neither of them would have much chance to survive in power if they decide to go the softer option. Now then there's the harder alternative. And the harder alternative is to basically, for the next Prime Minister to decide that he's going to go full on for no-deal Brexit on the 31st of October. Now, this has the advantage that it's going to have the vast majority of the Conservative Party behind the new Prime Minister, especially if that's Boris Johnson. But the mirror problem there is that there is no majority in the Parliament right now. to support no deal Brexit. If the new Prime Minister tries to go for no deal Brexit, probably the Parliament is going to try to stop him somehow. Then we're going to have a full-blown constitutional crisis as well. So therefore, two options, hard and soft option. Both of them present the new Prime Minister with really important dilemmas leading to some kind of political crisis. For what it's worth, the Brexitometer's prediction is that the new Prime Minister will not be able to move on for much longer after October 31st without a general election. A general election is the only way for both major political parties in the UK to make up their mind and for voters to have a final say between a managed exit from the EU or a no-deal Brexit. So that was the Brexitometer, our first outdoor Brexitometer in a glorious day in London. Fun times ahead. We're going to have a new Prime Minister in a month, and then once summer is over, things in Brexit are going to start heating up again. Is it going to be no deal Brexit on the 31st of October? Are we finally going to have a resolution, or is it going to be yet another extension? The Brexitometer is going to be here to give you all the inside info. We're right here in the center where all of it happens. Of course, you can always send me your questions on social media, on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter using the hashtag Brexitometer. Until next time, take care.
We shall fight in the field.
Mit der Akzeptanz der
Décidez pas parce que
vier
les
Grundfreiheiten und dazu gehört
ont
auch
décidé
die
de sortir, qu'ils ne doivent pas
Freizügigkeit
être
der
associés à ce
Personen.
processus.
Brexit means Brexit.